I've said that multiple times on the show. I am not about to allow somebody to drain me with whatever they got going on. I can love you and still not want to be around you and have you drain me. It's just a self-respect thing, self-love, self-care, selfish, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to project that shit onto me.
Roll me, Mac.
What did you want your job to be when you were a kid? To be honest, I had fantasy dreams for jobs when I was a kid. That was I just knew. I was living in, because of the lack of effort to said fantasy job that I wanted to do, I would say I was living in a delusion. And I say that because I wanted to play in the NBA. That was a dream. Like, I never thought about, the firemen, policemen, none of that shit. There was just, I was going to either be I was going to play in the NBA, and I was going to be a singer. Yeah, those were the two things that I wanted to do. My biggest influence was Michael Jackson, of course, growing up. So there was a lot of wanting to be a singer in a group, singer by myself. There was an aspiration to become a comedian at one point in time, like legitimate, stand in front of a crowd, a comedian. I remember one time, and it's the only one time that I performed in front of my family. This is when we lived in Pax River, and my Aunt Sharon's visiting. And me and my Aunt Sharon have a very close bond. So she's sitting there on my mom's bed, and my mom is there. I had to be about maybe probably 8 years old. And I watched a lot of Living Color, Def Comedy Jam. Wasn't supposed to be watching Def Comedy Jam, but I watched it. I was very much influenced by that. And I wanted to be this. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do stand-up. And I literally stood in front of them with one of my pool sticks from my Fisher-Price pool table and used it like as a mic. And I tried to tell jokes, and that shit did not go the way I had thought it would be. So there was definitely an early lesson in appreciation to those who actually do comedy. But I believe that comedy writing is probably more what I would want to do versus standing in front of a crowd trying to make various, like I said, people laugh. I believe being better at writing than that of performing and standing in front of a crowd. There is an art to that, and it takes in a tremendous amount of effort, more than what I was giving it credit for, especially at 8. But even just throughout my life, just revisiting that dream, if you will, of becoming a stand-up comedian, it takes a lot to do that. A lot of courage to stand in front of an audience and bomb. And I bombed in front of my mom and my aunt at that early age. But all of the jobs that I wanted to do as a kid required a tremendous amount of discipline and effort and blocking out the noise. And I did not put forth enough effort to achieve the basketball dream that early on. Now, don't get me wrong, I could play. I had a decent game, but you couldn't tell me shit. I did not want to listen to anybody trying any form of authority. Well, I was not going to listen to, try to make me better. You know what I mean? After a while, like you start smelling yourself. Teenagers, they do that shit. And I started to feel myself a little bit, and I just felt like, no one was gonna tell me shit. Learning late, I would learn later on in like therapy and shit that's a trauma response. You know what I'm saying? Like a repel to authority. But, I didn't put forth the effort, honestly. And there's only one person to really be responsible and accountable for that reaction to that outcome is me. Because I didn't put forth that effort of playing on the team, staying on the team, studying the playbook, putting forth the effort and practice, all the things that require us to become a better, just a better athlete, a better person, to listen and execute. There was a lot of just, it's going to go my way or that's it. You know what I'm saying? And when it came to listening to adults that knew better, of course, they already been down the path that I was trying to go down, but you couldn't tell me shit. And so I look at that, like I said, the jobs I never wanted to be I never wanted anything that was like a 9-to-5. I knew early on that I wanted to do something that I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy the whatever it is to be a cop. I didn't find being a firefighter enjoyable. I didn't find a lawyer. None of the typical I would say professions that are said when you're a little kid. You think it's cute, like I want to be a policeman or none of that. I'm not a doctor working in a hospital. None of that shit was appealing to me. What was appealing to me was entertainment of some sort of whether that be basketball, comedy, and singing. Those were the 3 pillars that I had focused on throughout my childhood, and just wanted to do that. Now, basketball to me is out of the question. I would still love to write comedy, and also sitcoms and shit like that. A lot of ideas. And then singing, it doesn't have to be on that grand stage like I thought, when I was a kid. I was very much like what you saw depicted in Alvin and the Chipmunks. That's how I kind of, thought in my head as far as being like this singer and just obsessed with trying to do this song and sing this song and at the same time shy as shit, afraid to sing it in front of anyone. But I never really had that. Like I say, even now, I'm grateful for the Air Force and what it enabled me to do as an airfield manager, airfield specialist, whatever you want to call the term for our job. But I thought I really did want to become that. That was where, that's where dreams lie. And I'm stubborn, so I'm not one for giving up on dreams, but I also know that, bills need to be paid. So that's where what I'm doing right now, you know what I mean? And just being able to work at your passion when time permits in your off time. You know what I mean? Like, we can work on your job 8 to 12 hours, whatever it is. And then there's 8 hours that you can invest into yourself and your passion. So I do my best to try to work at that if I can. ignoring the distractions as much as I can. I'm human just like anybody else, but like but getting to the point of like what job did I want to do when I was a kid, and the jobs for me, it was comedy, singing, and at one point in time, like I said, playing in the NBA. I grew to be 6'1", so I would have had to have developed a tremendous amount of ball handling skills and court vision to play ball with those giants. You know what I mean? For anybody who has ever played ball with people who are 6'5" and up, it is a different type of game when you are playing with those that are 6 feet and under. You know what I'm saying? Like on average at pickup runs, at least, I mean, I haven't really played ball in a couple years now, but when we used to play ball, it's like a lot of people around our height. It'd be one or two people that might be 6'2", 6'3". But when you play ball with those Nephilim, tall motherfuckers, like people that are like 6'5", 6'9", and it's not just one, it's like multiple. You got to know what you're doing out there. It's a different level of playing ball. So, like I said, realistically, it would have had to been those handles. I mean, Allen Iverson coming out of Virginia and playing at Georgetown and then playing in the NBA and being the impactful player that he was, he just had a tremendous work ethic, despite they give him shit for not going to practice. But Iverson had that. He was going at you. You know what I mean? And he did it. He was 6 even. That's probably pushing it, maybe 5'11". But, Allen Iverson was able to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish out there in the NBA. Now, Kobe himself, God rest his soul, has said if Iverson was 5 inches taller, he would have had, multiple championships and stuff like that. But just by God in the universe, he was born to be 6 even. But still was such an impactful player. The way he was, very slender, and he can go through the whole, in athletic ways to score a basket. And everybody doesn't work that hard to make that effort. It's not impossible, but you really gotta dig it in. You really gotta dig in to that. So, like I said, getting back to the question, what job did I want to do as a kid? As a kid, I wanted to become a singer. I wanted to play in the NBA, and I also wanted to do comedy. What's the most useful skill you've ever learned? The most useful skill I'd say that I've learned over time, probably the last 5 to 6 years, is, I'll say, a sense of empathy, right? Empathy with the person next to me because they're battling something that I don't even know about. And it's a struggle sometimes, because sometimes you can take what they do personal at first until you start to process it from their perspective, and it teaches you to not take things personal. But I would probably say the most useful skill that I have is a sense of empathy for people that I come in contact with. Now, that doesn't mean I'm gonna keep you in my aura. I'm not gonna stay around you because I love myself too much to stay around you, to let you drain me. Like, I'm not going to, I repeat that. I've said that multiple times on the show. I am not about to allow somebody to drain me with whatever they got going on. I can love you and still not want to be around you and have you drain me. It's just a self-respect thing, self-love, self-care, selfish, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to project that shit onto me in the slightest. I'm on high alert for that shit. And it's not, like I said, it's nothing personal. It's not that I don't love you. I just love me more, and I love my peace. I I would say that the most useful skill that I've ever learned is that sense, like I said, a sense of empathy, being able to see it from another person's perspective, being able to understand what it is that they believe they're going through, how they're perceiving life, because life is commonly not what it is, it's how we perceive it to be. So to sit with a person, to listen to them, do your best to not interrupt them with trying to fix the situation that some of us do, especially men. We tend to want to fix the situation when a lot of times the people that we're talking to just want to be heard, just want to be felt. And that's like I said, that's a common mental challenge when you're in a conversation, to not make it about you. It's not about you. It's about that person that wants to share whatever it is so they can feel seen, heard, and loved. And the challenge is just to listen. And it doesn't, like I said, it's not easy by any means. It's very challenging to do so, but to sit there and just let somebody say whatever it is that's on their mind, right? Even if it's about you. And that's the struggle too, especially when they have whatever issue they feel they're going through and they believe it's about you, sitting there and just letting them tell it. And truth be told, like I said, they just want to be heard. So maybe even validated by you. They feel like they value you enough to come to you with something, and they just want to be heard. And sometimes when you're in that moment, you don't think you're that valuable. Not purposely, it's not like a low self-esteem thing. You just don't see yourself as being that important to where you have to be upset because of whatever reason. You know what I mean? And that's just learning humanity. And you can do that by being around, other humans and learning how to communicate. But having that empathy and just seeing life through another person's lenses teaches you to appreciate your own, a lot of times, not to compare, but more just showing how human one can be. And so I'm grateful for that skill. And like I said, I do my best not to, when I hear something or somebody has a challenge of some sort, doing my best to not judge, right? Doing your best to not judge in that moment, but allowing them to just share how they feel. Allow yourself listening to be a mirror for them when they're finished sharing what they've shared, because more than likely they just want to be heard. And you don't have to fix it, but you can ask a question that allows them to think about what they're saying to you. And I really do my best to do that, to allow you to handle it yourself, for you to be able to see it for yourself, and just pose a question that is going to make you look at the situation differently in another perspective. But empathy, a skill that I find that to be the most useful skill, because it allows me to connect with just about anyone that got damn sense. I'll say that. There are some people that are just hell-bound on being the victim, and they can be draining as fuck. But for those people who just really want to be heard, and that's really all it is, it really allows you to be able to connect and just seeing it from another, like I said, from different perspectives. There's just so many people. There's there's more than 1 billion people walking the earth. So there's 1 billion perspectives. You know what I'm saying? How fascinating is that? Where you meet people and we can look at the same picture and have different ideas of what that picture meant. And it's the same thing anytime we engage with people, because we think that we have it all figured out. We really do. We really do feel like we got it all figured it out, myself included at times. But in actuality, there's a whole other side of the world that we have yet to see, and who knows how they're living. And we have everything, and we think our world is so fucking important, like our surrounding area. But Hell, just even on the other side of the world, there's a whole bunch of shit going on that we know nothing about. And then again, to mentally take a trip in your mind away from the earth and look down from space, you see how small we are in comparison to the rest of the universe. And it just teaches you to humble yourself. Like, you're not that fucking important. But it's nice to, it helps when you're able to listen and allow someone to feel seen, heard, and loved, and to have that ability to simply empathize. You don't necessarily have to agree with what they're saying, but you can have empathy and see it from their perspective so that they feel heard. I mean, that most of the time, that's what it tends to encourage healthy conversation, is that of expressing empathy, not judgment, just listening, right? It's allowing somebody to share what they share. You're not interrupting them. You're not trying to correct them, but just listening. And we're all guilty of that. Our ego eats at us and we want to be right. Some of us, we tend to get in those situations where it just seems like you want to be right. It's not important to being right, unless it's trivia and there's money involved. But as far as just listening, allowing a person to be heard, like I said, you do not have to agree with what's being said. You do not have to agree with this person's perspective, this person's viewpoint, this person's religious views, this person's whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever, however they see it in their world, it is their world. That is it. All that person wants to do is just to be able to be heard, to be seen. You know what I mean? It's like we're in conversation. You become a therapist. You sit there and you listen to what this person has to say. Now, when we get around family and some of our and even friends, we get so excited, like little kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever, as parents, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's been time where you've seen kids in the back seat and they're just having their own conversation. They might be talking over one another. There's so much like enjoyment, excitement, and energy. Really, it's just energy that they have of joy, and they just want to get that out. They just want to be heard. You know what I'm saying? Like, this thing happened in class today, or I saw this outside at the playground, or this happened when we played basketball. Anything that they got going on, they just want to be able to share that. And that's kind of like how I try to look at it when I'm in conversation, and just asking the questions that will get that person to kind of share a little bit more about themselves, and feeling free to do so without being judged, without feeling like they're going to be chastised for what they're saying, how they're saying it. If they fucked up a pronunciation of a word, just let them fuck it up and just sit there. Damn it, it's General Toso. It ain't General. If it's not General South for this conversation, it's General damn Toso. So to be able to just listen, to be in the present moment. Being in the present moment tends to be like a cheat code for life. I would say. I definitely firmly agree with that. Anytime we're doing anything outside of that, trying to be in the future, trying to, go back and fight the past, we bring some form of chaos and conflict to our life. But being in the present moment tends to flow, in a state of flow. And that's where we want to be, is in a state of flow. So, just something for all of us to think about. But like I said, the most useful skill that I've found to have, that I've ever learned, is definitely a sense of empathy. Being able to just see it from another being able to see it from another person's point of view. What did your childhood bedroom look like? All right, my childhood bedroom had Shaq, Penny, a lot of Jordan on the wall. I had those glow-in-the-dark stars, moon, shit on the ceiling. There was this exercise bike inside my room. I never used it. I would sit on it sometimes to talk on the phone. There was a phone. And eventually there was caller ID, Bell Atlantic caller ID thing. That's where you could see who called. That was innovative. Dating myself as a kid growing up in the 90s and early 2000s. I had a small, very small, I had a decent sized closet. And, I kept my shoes at the bottom. The jackets and coats would be to the far left and the back. My jeans would be to the far right. And then shirts would be anywhere from being in the dresser. And then the rest would be in the middle. I wasn't really big on dressing back then, so it was a lot of graphic tees and regular tees and shit like that. But I did have a sound system of some sort. And then I realized that I could hook up my PlayStation to with an auxiliary thing to my sound system, so I could really hear the hits on Madden 2000 or Madden 99 or whatever it was, playing NBA Live. It was real. I had a little setup for music. I had a thing with VHS tapes, an entire Disney collection for VHS, them little thick ass collectibles. And then a gang I had And1 mixtape volume 4. We got that at the barbershop. They used to sell them in the front of the barbershop as soon as you walk in at, was it Capital Cuts? I think so. I think it was Capital Cuts. But anyway, it was, like I said, white walls. My bed would move around depending on where, each time I left for the summer and came back, my mom would kind of redesign the bed. At one point, it was against the little girl, attic door, and then one time it will be against the window, that where it is right now, actually, currently, all those years later. But it was but it was a good time though. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoyed the many moments I would have in my room with a few people, friends, definitely female friends growing up in high school, being promiscuous and shit like that. But I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't sexually active like that, back then. There was mainly foreplay shit, just little kid shit. But yeah, that was what my childhood bedroom looked like. What does home mean to you, and is it a place, person, or feeling? Well, for me, home is all three. Sometimes all at once, sometimes it's one and not the other two, sometimes it's two and not, and not the one. But home for me is this sense of relief, man, just from the pressures of the world. And it's never going to be a constant. It's not going to be a constant thing, because the world is always moving. We're always moving. We're always evolving as we move towards ascension. And they're constantly changing. Whether you choose to or not, the world keeps moving around you. And so for me, home is that energy that it really does collect any negative energy that you might be carrying, and being able to release that shit and just toss it. For instance, the beach. Regardless of what's going on, if I'm able to get to the beach with my setup that I have, whether that's a book, headphones, or a Bluetooth speaker, a beach chair, and books, and it's just me and Oceana. It is peace. That's home for me. I feel nothing. I feel no pain, I feel anything. And no responsibilities, no nothing. It is literally a Hakuna Matata out there for me at the beach. And just knowing that you can give that negative energy to Oceana. She don't want anything back. It just washes it all away. And of course, home can be in people that you meet too. And certain energies. Ones that don't really project themselves onto you. They just want to collect you. If that makes sense. Right? Like to be able to just sit in their presence. Not saying a fucking word. And you just feel like nothing can fuck with us. It's just what it is. It didn't matter how horrible it is outside that door. We can take it because our energies are together. That to me is a sense of, that to me is what I find to be home. Those energies that you come across where this person seems like they're constantly trying to be seen, validated, and draining the fuck out of you. You know, just feel like just turning to you on for their happiness. They literally they want you to be responsible for every piece and part of their happiness. I find that to be unhealthy. I find it to be toxic. And don't get me wrong, I'm toxic as they come in some way, shape, or form. But I find that aspect of toxicity is draining. It's draining. And you certainly don't want to allow somebody to make their problems your problems. You know what I mean? It's one thing to be around people and just kind of, damn, I got this going on. But man, I got this going on. Can you do it? Can you fix it? You try to make it your problem to fix. No. That to me is not really home. I mean, for them, if I people please and I actually fix the problem each time it's brought to me, yes, I'm home for them. But is that really home for me? You know what I mean? Like for me to constantly have to fix this shit. If you don't have your life together, how are you going to have it together enough for when I bring stuff from my life to you? If that makes sense. That's why I like to work on my own shit. And I think we're more effective that way, to where I work on my shit, you work on your shit type thing. I'm not saying not be there for one another. What I'm saying is not to project that onto somebody else, if that makes sense. But few places I find to be home. Suffolk will forever. Hampton Roads, but specifically Suffolk, Virginia, the Peanut City, is home for me. Not as much as it is now that I've been introduced to Miami and even Jacksonville, but Suffolk is a place that will forever be home. There are so many memories going this place, going to that place, be it elementary school, what was going on, middle school, what was happening, high school, coming back to visit, in the military for the, in the Air Force, doing things with my family, like, and Salisbury too. I put that together. Salisbury, Maryland, Suffolk, Virginia. I consider that to be home for me, because I spend most of my time, riding in the back seat of whatever my mom was driving, and wherever she went, there I was. So we would go to my grandma's house in Salisbury. That is home. And it ain't really about the many places out there. There's different things, that I think about. I'm staying at my grandma's house, like North Lake Park. That's where we used to play basketball during the summer. We used to have summer league and stuff like that. I actually won a championship as a kid, out there. My cousin won multiple championships because that's how he got down. Like family members, basketball is just in our blood to do so. But those certain parts, like North Lake Park, going to Boss Cobb's, that to me it's home. It feels like home, because I used to beg my mom to buy toys when she would go shopping with my grandma and my aunts to that mall, and they would go to Boss Cobb's. They would literally sit at my grandmother's table and cut coupons, talking about how much you can save and all this other shit, going to fucking Supergiant, going to, like I said, Boscov's, Kmart, Montgomery Ward, all these things, this is childhood, you know what I mean? So like Salisbury is a place that I would deem to be home, for me. You know what I mean? It's different now because I'm older, not that little kid that's just eyeing to get to my grandma's house so I can play video games and basketball with my cousins. But now it's just revered as like, I don't get me today, present day me at 40, without Suffolk, Virginia, without Salisbury, without Fort Walton Beach, Hurlburt Field, without Homestead Air Reserve Base, without Miami, without, you know what I mean? Like all these places I consider to be home. Now, as far as living there, and like, there's a point where I used to get homesick and I wanted to be back in Virginia. When I first got in the Air Force, I was trying to do everything I could to get out so that I could get to Virginia. Because I felt like I was missing out on something. When I got to Miami, I kept trying to, visit Hurlburt because I just felt like I was missing home. And then once I moved away from Miami to North Carolina for a very short stint, I wanted to go back to Miami. It's just, you don't realize that these things, what they mean to you until it's gone. And then you want to kind of recreate those moments, but the moment's passed. The place will always be there. You know what I mean? It's just a part of you, and just accepting that. So I look at like places as far as what's home, Suffolk, like I said, Suffolk, Salisbury, Miami. Like for me, those places they're literally just home for me. Now like I said, I'm more in tune and in touch with Miami. The you know what I'm saying, 954-305 754, that area it's very familiar to me, and like I said, I know it like the back of my hand because I spent most of my adult years there. Growing up, in Hampton Roads, a lot of things still very near and dear to, whether it be Florence Bowser Elementary, John Yates Middle School, Nansen River High School, Jordan Steve's Steakhouse, Chesapeake Square Mall, which is being demolished, from my understanding. Like there's so many parts of what I consider to be home, and it's just a nostalgic feeling. I will forever hear and see my like childhood in Suffolk when I hear My Boo by Ghost Town DJs, because of that was the song I played during the summer. All the fucking time. They play it out the entire fucking summer. Yeah, it just takes me back each time hearing that. That's one of those ones. I mean, there's a few songs. Like Nelly's Dilemma with Kelly Rowland was definitely, that's like that 11th grade summer, that feeling, you know what I mean? There was a feeling you had in the summer. Hey Poppy by Jay-Z, these songs take you, like, it's very nostalgic for me. So home being a place. Now, in all these things that are being said, feelings are involved with this. So that's what I mean. Like home is essentially all three. It can be, but there's a feeling with that of being in Suffolk. There's a feeling of being with this particular person. You know what I mean? And the aura of just peace that they give, that feeling of being at the beach and not having to think about anything. The world is peaceful. It's calm. And I don't have to be concerned with anything but me. And that's what, it's a joy. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you have to lead. It requires a lot of being there sometimes when people come to you. Now, you don't have to do anything, but to retain said position, of a leader, it does come with certain requirements. It's not mandatory by any means. It is a choice, and it's something I choose to do. So, I look at being able to just be free, right? To be in that moment of just the present moment, to be at peace. There are certain people in my life that enable me to just drift away. They don't project a lot onto me. I won't say they don't project at all, but they don't project so much that is draining onto me. And then there's people that they don't do shit. And I mean that in an effective way. Like, it's just about being around one another and just being at peace. They don't try to get you to parent them. That's my favorite kind of people. The people that you can be around that you don't have to parent. They are indirectly looking for you to parent them. They won't say that. They might not even know that's what they're doing, but that is a perspective that I've given, you know what I mean? Just from, I don't know, studying a bit about human relations and all of that. But in my mind, I perceive that as a person that wants to be parented. And some people answer the call. Some people, that's what they like to do. They want to parent somebody. I prefer for us to just be adults around one another and ask questions that'll help us solve our own issues. Not so much for you to fix my issue, you know what I mean? But home is a high. Home is a high that is indescribable to me. I really can say that. That feeling of visiting, like the first time I came back to Miami after moving the first time, very much a wave of emotion came over me to see my best friend and our family. But just being back home is what it was, the first time going to Salisbury after leaving as an adult in the Air Force, coming back home, that first time coming back from basic training and tech school and going to Suffolk, getting off that plane and seeing your then girlfriend, Beyonce, and your family all there together. It felt home, But that's, even like I said, that was 18-year-old me. But home is where you feel seen, heard, and loved. Home is where, to me, home is where you belong, not fit in. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about fitting in. I enjoy being essentially perceived as one of the weird kids, weird men, weird person, whatever you want to call it. But I love being able to allow you to be whatever it is that you want to be. If it's corny, do that. If it's, it's being silly. If it's, pinging off and then calming the fuck down after having a chicken little moment, do that. But as long as you don't drain me, that's really it. I would say that part. Just don't drain. Just don't drain those around you. Do your best to give energy. You either got an anchor or a sail in your life. You got to decide which one that is. If they're pulling you down, you obviously know that's an anchor. If you feel drained, that's an anchor. But if they give you upliftment, if they encourage you, if they make you believe that you can do any fucking thing that you put your mind to, you have a sail in your life. And you'd be fortunate enough to come across a few sails in your life, and just really avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. Cause it's out here, it's tough. Life is very challenging, and a lot of us live with entitlement. So we believe that we should have a better life than what we have, but we won't get a better life until we appreciate the current one that we have. That's my perspective on that, and even with myself, when I find myself getting caught up in the matrix and wanting more, but not appreciating the present, humble yourself, and then be able to appreciate what you have so that you can make room for what God in the universe has more for you. But home is, as cliche it is, it's where the heart is. you know. But really home is where you truly, I believe, where you belong. You know, where you feel like you belong, where you feel seen, heard, and loved. And I won't let anybody tell me differently. So, anyway, I enjoyed sharing that, talking about home and some realization while speaking on it. This is Romy Mac. I appreciate it, each and every person, for checking out this episode. Do us a solid, here at J.E.T.Sense, and Ask Rome. Sharing your page. Be sure to hit like or love, or whatever the icon is that you feel from this, through YouTube or Facebook, and really that's it. So I'm out. Good night, kids. How do you feel about lingerie? I really, like I said, I really do enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? It's not a requirement or anything like that. And it's not like it stays on for too long anyway. But I would say when it comes to lingerie on a woman, I believe it accentuates her anatomy, her figure, as long as it's chosen for your figure. Obviously, you have to do your own research and own up to your accountability of where you are with your body right now, and ensuring that it fits as needed. You know what I mean? But I love it though. Honestly, like I said, I love the courage, the confidence it takes to embrace said thing, to wear that. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's like to be a woman. That's one thing I won't be able to speak on. I know what I love to look at on a woman for sure. I can tell you that front and back. But I'd say that like I said, that confidence and that courage to trust said man with wearing that around them, you know what I mean, doesn't go unmentioned, unnoticed to do so. But I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing that. I enjoy seeing a woman embrace her sexual side, not to mention the other sides of which she has going on, whether that be mom, be boss at the job, or subordinate at the job, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, helping friends out and all those things. But when it comes to being in that moment of intimacy with that person that you deem of interest, you value enough to be with you in a sexual standpoint, it's very much appreciated. Very much appreciated to wear said things such as lingerie. Yeah, it's a joy to see, for sure. It's definitely something that is very enticing. It definitely is a turn on to see that on a woman. You know what I'm saying, that you're with, and there's no penalty for not wearing it either, by any means. You know what I'm saying? It's just something that it does. It's definitely helpful for sure to be able to wear such. And like I said, that confidence and sexy doesn't just have to just be in lingerie. I could say the same thing for a large tee and drawers and panties, thong, whatever, you know what I mean? Or even like I said, the boy shorts look, the small shorts and a jersey or something like that. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, that what your relaxed fitting is, joggers or gray sweatpants. And hell, from my understanding, women believe that wearing gray sweatpants on us is fucking lingerie, little nasty bastards, looking for dick prints. But I digress. But yes, lingerie, definitely a fan of lingerie on a woman, especially when it fits right and accentuates her curves, her bust, beauty, the face, like I said, thighs, all of that. It all plays a role, and there's nothing like to me, the turn on is the confidence in wearing said attire and just embracing that shit. And like, fuck it, take me as is, motherfucker type thing. But at the same time, being sexy with it, though, is what I mean, I can say that jokingly, but honestly, being able to wear said lingerie piece and just embracing, you know, yourself, essentially embracing where you are with your body, your anatomy, because it's going to be appreciated. It's going to be torn the fuck down. Any man that's about his business when it comes to that, and you show up in lingerie, is going to tear what we call the fuck down. Yeah, you heard me. But yes, lingerie, big fan of it. And like I said, I love the way it fits. When it, like I said, when everything all aligns, you know what I'm saying, and just that embracing the moment, living in the present moment, and not holding anything back. Yeah, for sure. Me as like I said, me as a masculine man and knowing what he wants and what he's into, I love to see that shit on a woman.